I have trouble falling back to sleep at night when I wake up in the middle of the night, which is quite frequent. Um, it, and I have no trouble going to sleep because I'm usually exhausted. But staying asleep is a challenge. And I've tried all kinds of remedies, but the one that works is the one that was never intended to help with sleep, and it's iron. Now, iron, the body has a difficult time absorbing iron and calcium, and so there's a sidebar here, because I've done iron megadosing in the past, and I can feel it hit my senses that it's too much. And I just assumed I didn't need it, but that's not it. It's that I was not absorbing it. I actually need a humongous amount. In fact, when I was a kid, before I became a vegetarian, or renewed my involvement with being a vegetarian, when we went to parties like Passover Seders and whatnot, usually there'd be onion dip, which was one of my favorites. The potato chip was just an excuse to shovel the onion dip into my mouth. If they gave me a spoon, I would have used it, but I never asked for what I wanted. I was such a shy little kid. And the other thing I liked besides onion dip was liver pate. And I would just sit there and scoop it up alternate between that and the onion dip. And when I got older, I discovered molasses, and I asked my mom for molasses cookies, and she made me molasses cookies, and I'd pour it all over my oatmeal, gobs and gobs of molasses. I was a sugar freak, so I didn't mind. But boy, I dug that iron. So, but that was when I was still not a vegetarian. Once I became a vegetarian, I lost my ability to digest eggs, the egg white, although I can still digest the yolk, but everybody says it's bad for you, and I disagree. I think it's the most nutritious, delicious part of the egg, and it's not bad for me, because what's bad for me is anything I cannot digest will ferment and create toxins such as hydrogen sulfide in the case of egg whites. Very deadly stuff. Gives you gray hair, whiten the hair on your head pretty quickly. It bleaches, basically. Yes, so let's see. So the trick is how to get the body to absorb iron. And I found a neat little trick. It's called kefir. Kefir. Every supermarket has it, just about every supermarket, because it's an ancient recipe for culturing milk. There's buttermilk, and there's kefir, there's yogurt, cheese, all of these things that are ancient traditions in many, many cultures. And kefir is interesting because it's kind of like yogurt, but it's not yogurt. And it's kind of like leavened bread, but it's not. It's a combination of the two. It has both yeast and lactobacilli in there. The lactobacilli being for yogurt culture, and yeast being for making bread and wine and cheese. It has both because the colon has a mixture of both, a healthy colon, and in order to operate, it has to have the correct balance. And if it has too much yeast taking over, it don't work. And if it has nothing, it really don't work, in my case. So I have to take a senesoid-based laxative, herbal pill laxative. And to counteract the diarrhea from the senesoid, I have to take mineral oil without fragrance. But to help me sleep at night, I have to take iron. But to help me absorb the iron, I have to take kefir. What was the other thought I wanted to bring up? There was another thought. Oh, darn. Now I forgot what it was. That's not good. Vitamin C also, lozenges. Vitamin C lozenges. So I figure, I might as well take vitamin C lozenge at the same time I take stuff like iron and calcium. Calcium I take in the form of calcium citrate. Now the iron I take in the form of iron glycinate. Let me see, check this label. Yeah, it says glycinate chelate. So it's also got sugar and fructose and xylitol, because these are lozenges to help encourage me to take iron. Chewable lozenges, 30 milligrams, super absorption. Well, I beg to differ. It's probably an improvement over iron sulfate, yet I don't know about that. Iron sulfate is what is utilized to blacken olives. When you want to buy black olives, that's iron sulfate that makes them black, in most cases. So if you're really hard up on iron and you can't find a health food store, you could just go to any supermarket and get yourself some black olives, and you'll at least get some iron. But I need a lot. Oh, that was the thought. If you consume an excess of iron, I don't think it can kill you, but it can give you constipation, which could kill you, I suppose, if you stopped going altogether. So that's why I brought up the fact that I'm already constipated to begin with, and I have to take an herbal laxative to help me go. But unfortunately, it over-responds and gives me diarrhea, so then I take mineral oil to prevent that over-response. I also have gelatin capsules, but that's too extreme, gluing up everything. I think mineral oil is better, because it doesn't break down, and it doesn't, well, not readily, and it does not digest. But that's it for this podcast. I wanted to tell you my most latest venture into solving the mystery of how to fall back to sleep at night. It's tough. It's not easy. Decades, years of not getting adequate sleep, all because I don't get enough iron in my diet. Who knew?